Hey, welcome World Entertainment and Star Wars. Yeah, you know, the thing that's pretty much dead to everybody. Yeah, it's out there. It's still going under Disney, of course. But one of the things Disney did with the movies when they had the chance to put the big three back together, and they didn't. Instead, they never put them together in a single frame of footage and then killed them off one by one. They brought back the Emperor. Palpatine himself somehow returned. We all remember the line, we all remember the meme that it created off. Somehow, something has returned. That's the meme, basically. Well, Ian McDiarmid has now come out and given a conversation, or an interview I should say, with Variety regarding his entire run, 42 years of playing Palpatine. And if you actually look at the Variety interview, it's actually a good interview. There was actually some decent questions, and his responses are quite interesting. Really kind of opens the veil of what went behind the scenes to bring this character to life. Basically, you know, how little of George Lucas directed him in terms of playing this character, but gave him subtle nods to what to do, which worked so well, apparently. Compared to what we're going to actually be looking at in this, which just flat out shows you, yeah, Disney hadn't a clue about what they were doing or even why they brought him back, basically, because he doesn't even know how or why Palpatine came back. Now, he doesn't crap all over the movie or anything like that, because why would he? You know, if he wants another job from them, I'm sure he would not be going, oh yeah, it was a terrible idea and all this type of stuff. But he also hints and talks about that there was at least an idea from George Lucas, not Disney, about actually doing a Palpatine series back in the day. Imagine that. I don't think that would have been a good idea, because again, these are the type of characters you don't want to learn too much about, in terms of, don't unravel the mystery surrounding all of them. Now, just before we jump into it, yeah, we're going to have to do it. It's that time again. If you don't mind, if you haven't done it before, smash that sub button, the like button, and all the buttons. You know you want to. It's right there. Cost you nothing. It's free. Everybody likes something that's free. So just press it. It's right there. It's waving at you. Look at it. It's just like, hello, I'm right here. Just press it. You know you want to. And join this journey, as we're getting fairly close to 3,000 subs, which is fantastic. So thanks for being here. And again, just smash that sub button. But let's dive into what he talks about here, because again, it is interesting what he says. So, in an interview with Variety, McDiarmid said it was very satisfying to learn he had a granddaughter in Daisy Ridley's Rey. However, no one ever explained how the Emperor managed to have children. So we're not just hearing the big question of, wait, how is the Emperor back? And how does he have kids? There's no answer to either one of them. That's right. Even though they tried to do novels that said, oh, it's because of it. No, there's no actual reason. So here is what he said about all of this. There was never any discussion of any of that. It was up to me to work it out in my head. There was talk in The Phantom Menace about something called midichlorians, which were involved somehow in Anakin's birth. George didn't want to go too deeply into that, but he reckoned it was kind of a virgin birth, though one ought not to say that, because God knows you get all sorts of complications. So then people asked the slightly embarrassing question about, does this evil, by the way, this is still him talking, does this evil monster even have sex? And we don't really know the answer to that question either. Things in tubes, you think about probably, rather than the awful vision that you might have in your head of this monster ever having a sexual relationship with anybody. So the question was, how did he get a grandchild? Like, does Palpatine do the dance with no pants? And that was his answer, that they never had any conversations during the filming or script or anything regarding how exactly Palpatine has a grandchild. So you can clearly see there was as much as they were going back and forth with who Rey really is, that they just basically threw out the fact that, oh, it's Palpatine at the last minute because they don't even know how. So it says, reviews of The Rise of Skywalker weren't positive, and fans made it clear they didn't enjoy how J.J. Abrams continued Palpatine's story. The response to his voice being in the teaser trailer had been largely positive. However, the way the villain's return was executed proved largely unsatisfying and left a long list of unanswered questions. The movie's novelization filled in a few of the gaps, but only a small minority read that. So McDiarmid said of the backlash, well, there's always something, isn't there? I don't read that stuff and I'm not online, so it'll only reach me if someone mentions it. I thought there might be a bit of a fuss about bringing him back, but as I said, mine and Palpatine's logic was entirely reasonable. This man, who was horribly maimed, though maybe one day it might happen to him, and we've got to have a plan B. I loved the whole idea that he should come back and be even more powerful than he was before, though this time he had to be utterly destroyed. So I think he's dead? The trade also put it out to the actor that there had been plans for a TV series featuring Palpatine from George Lucas, not Disney+. Asked if anything from that was shared with him, he said, just the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. It's fairly obvious that my character murdered Plagueis on his road to becoming Palpatine, but beyond that, no. With George, you don't discuss anything really. You turn up and you shoot. These films take a long time to make and the pressure is intense for many reasons. Of course, George was at the forefront of all of that, so he had all of that to think about day by day. He takes a good deal of trouble over casting, but once he's cast, then he likes the actors to get on with it. So that's what he concluded with. So that's where he's kind of talking about the thing with George, where he doesn't really communicate too much to you. It's basically just stand there and be evil, and that's what they have to do. But if you read the full article, you do hear where he talks about there's one particular thing George did say to him about Palpatine that really clicked with McDiarmid, I should say, that made him go, oh, I get what he's going for here with this guy. But the fact that he has to flat out say, yeah, we had no idea how I returned and we have no idea how in the hell he has a grandchild, just shows you that Disney and J.J. Abrams in particular just hadn't a clue what they were doing. That this was all just thrown together last minute. And you even heard Daisy Ridley say herself, like, yeah, we were filming the movie and it was changing on a day-to-day basis. It was like, you're Obi-Wan's granddaughter. Oh, actually, you're just going to be nobody. Maybe you're related to oh, actually, we're sticking with the Obi-Wan. Oh, wait. And then last minute was like, we think we're going to make you Palpatine's grandchild. So you're hearing a lot of that. And he does talk a bit more about the type of stuff with coming back and how he was even confused as to how and why he was being brought back. But either way, there you go. Ian McDiarmid has basically just opened the curtain to show you, oh look, they hadn't a clue what the hell they were doing with this movie. So it's no wonder the thing was a disaster. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. You know the drill. We talked about it earlier. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.